G.
I see you over there. Rachel, you knew I was going to speak, right?
Yeah.
Raise it up. No, my name is James. I'm an addict. Grateful to be clean. Thankful that I'm still alive. And humble that the meeting wanted me to share my experience, strength, and hope. I'm just going to be transparent. I am in pain. First thing I use, let me back up. So I grew up the youngest of three boys in Minneapolis. And the first thing I used to escape my reality was fantasy. I come from broken homes or non-existent parents, right? I was raised by my grandmother until she passed. When I was 8 years old, that's when my world was turned upside down. Prior to that, Grandma and Grandpa was my society, my brothers, my cousins, everything. I didn't know anything different, right? It hit me. I was sitting on my grandmother's lap, waiting on my mom to show up. It was raining, and she never did. Next thing I knew, my grandmother passed. And I was in a group home separated from my two older brothers. And the way for me to deal with that was to grab a basketball at recess or when they let us out and play 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like I'm gonna win the championship. And that was my escape to deal with that reality. From time to time, I would see them. They would pick us up. Both group homes would meet at a park, and I would get a moment of connection again. A moment. Those 3 hours I look forward to. After that, it was back into me. So I'm gonna speed up now. So I got into foster care. The lady that took us in, she didn't want one of us. She said all three of us need to be together, so she kept us all together. And then that's when I started meeting some mean little kids who started clowning me about not knowing my mama and my daddy, right? And the anger set in, the isolation set in, but the fantasy remained, and it was productive and it was positive. At that point, I hadn't used. Fast forward 6 months, I went to my first treatment at 14, graduated it. I went to my last treatment in 2010. My clean date is 4/27/2010. By the time I made it to the rooms in 2010, I had done 13 and a half years in prison, 7 times in treatment. Every time I went to treatment, I came to NA. Jackie was around, Harry was around, Harrison was around. I'm truly grateful for Harrison and Harry because they never gave up on me. Never gave up on me. They've known me since I was 15, 16 years old. And they never gave up on me. They never judged me. They seen me loaded and just encouraged me. You know, so let's give our predecessors a hand. And so I went through the treatment dorm in Washington County. I don't want to get into all the details. Like I come from gang culture. I fell on Oregon's first gang-related drive-by that resulted in a death. During that process, I guess one important thing to mention is 1988, I won a state basketball championship. And this was following my dream to be an NBA player, right? So I'm starting to get some accomplishments, feeling good. And during that time, still, I'm 17 years old and I'm getting high, I'm smoking crack, or Primos at the time, and drinking. Old English 800. So y'all know I was full of it. And so I won the state championship. 3 months later, I was facing 20 years in prison. I got sentenced to 10, and came home 27 years old with no guidance, no direction, and just started living, right? I stayed out of the penitentiary, but my disease flourished, right? I went from using to not using to just using everything. And during this time, I had some kids, and I didn't take care of them. I was a deadbeat dad. And so fast forward up to 2010, I was downtown Portland, and I was granted the gift of desperation, right? I'm on a 3-day run, and the drugs stopped working. I could no longer escape the fact that I had thrown my life away. I could no longer escape the fact that I was a deadbeat dad. I could no longer escape the fact that I had a drug problem. Denial left me, and I got to see myself for who I was. And I was afraid, and I did what we don't do. I told my PO, she said, yeah, I'll get you into treatment after this 10 days. Legit, right? So I'm like, here I am trying to get honest, and I'm still getting punished, right? But that was the best thing she ever done for me. You know, I was finally able to embrace Narcotics Anonymous by going to meetings. I had people around me that was inspiring me. I want to give it up to the women who's ever lost a child, went through the DHS process and got it back. That was the story that inspired me to be a father, that I could be a productive father. I can have my kids again, so thank you. That was the first inspiration that I got here. That was the first inspiration. And so I started reading the literature, and first thing I read was called The Triangle of Self-Obsession. I'm not going to read it all, but I am going to read some points that stick out to me. So I know some of us are new, and we come from liking free shit, right? If you're new and you ain't got the literature, some free shit right outside that door. There's some free shit right there. And if you need the book, holla at me. It says, most children, through experiences over a period of time, come to realize that the outside world cannot provide all their wants and needs. They begin to supplement what is given to them with their own efforts. As their dependency on people, places, and things decrease, they begin to look to themselves more and more. They become more self-sufficient and learn that happiness and contentment come from within. That stood out to me. That was important for me to hear at that time, because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I was worthy, and I was broke. You know, so when I read that, I got some hope. At the end, it says, we have a disease that in the end forces us to seek help. We are fortunate that we are given only one choice, one last chance. We must break this triangle of self-obsession. We must grow up or die. March. Get in there. Work the steps. Get a sponsor. Then I got clean in Washington County, and this is what I heard. Chapter 5. It's called What Can I Do? And this dude, old man John, rest in love, I think he got up at the podium, and I'm a lazy motherfucking addict, so this fit me. And he just started reading the first sentence in each chapter. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And what I got from that was a roadmap on how to get connected in Narcotics Anonymous, what to do, and it helped me. I got a sponsor. I got a home group. I became a service. I got involved in H&I, and I was known as James the Black Guy, my first service position, right, as a greeter. You know, my home group was, at that time, 12 Steps to Freedom. Still a good meeting. If you're ever in Hillsborough on a Thursday night, go check them out. I can't find it. But anyway, it says the first step is to stop using. I'm going to find it, y'all. Yeah, what can I do? What page is it on, Jackie? I know it's at the beginning. What can I do? Here we go. It says, the first step to recovery is to stop using. Developing the concept of God as we understand him is a project that we can't undertake. The ability to face problems is necessary to stay clean. We have learned that old ideas and old ways won't help us to stay clean or live a better life. A meeting a day for the first 90 days of recovery is a good idea. Our new friends in the fellowship would help us. Gradually, we replace old habits with new ways of living. Another tool for the newcomer is involvement in the fellowship. We have found that it's helpful to have a sponsor and to use that sponsor. That's the second time, y'all, it mentions sponsors. One of the most profound changes in our lives is in the realm of personal relationships. Today, we seek solutions, not problems. The 12 steps are used as a program of recovery. We believe that a higher power will take care of us. Second time mentioning higher power. Sharing with fellow addicts is a basic tool. We recognize spiritual growth when we are able to reach out and help others. We cannot afford to lose sight of the importance of sponsorship and taking a special interest in a confused addict who wants to stop using. Working with others is only the beginning of service work. When he read that, that was a roadmap for me, and I took to that, and that's what I did. And I got connected, and I got some relief, right? So when I came in here, the main motivator was my children. And so working with a sponsor, I was able to be available, make myself available, and start building that relationship and repairing that relationship again, right? And so I have 4 children, and life is getting better, you know. 2 of them ended up moving in with me, living with me. I took them through high school from like 6th grade to high school. And I just showed up as a dad and continued to work, continued to progress. My life got different. It didn't necessarily get better, but it got different because I wanted some shit. I seen Jamal with a Range Rover. I wanted Jamal's Range Rover, right? I didn't ask Jamal what it took to get it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm looking at everything outside, and then what I want to say is comparison is dangerous for an addict. You know, my life experience has been when I compare myself to other people, I'm comparing my insides with their outsides, right? And because I don't have an understanding on who I am or didn't at the time, you know, it crushed me. It kept me loaded. It kept me loaded. But I'm here to tell you through Narcotics Anonymous, I was able to get my kids back. I was able to have a good relationship. About 7 years into it, I was able to meet my dad who left me, who I'd never met. I think I was 46 years old at the time, right? For the last 5 years of his life, I was able to build a relationship with him. And it was important because I told my home group at the time when I was going to meet him, you know, that Narcotics Anonymous wasn't enough. Because the pain was that deep. He was the reason why I wanted to inflict pain on people. But see, the steps to change you without your motherfucking permission. Because I showed up and I was the daddy. Right? He's crying to me drunk, telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, how can I do this? This is a suffering act. But this is the same person that left me alone. But because you guys taught me how to live, and because you guys told me that it's about today and not yesterday, and because I did some work, you know, I was able to show up, be a good son, and about a year after I met him, I buried that man, you know, and I was grateful to be able to do it. 6 months after meeting him, I got in touch with my mom. She came out here for a week. You know, my kids got to meet her. She was gone for 46, 47 years, right? 2 years ago, I buried her. I don't come from a gosh golly, it was nice. I come from the gutter. I come from pain, and pain is here today. So I'm just going to be honest with y'all. It's hard to be up here right now. It's hard to look at you guys, but I committed in the first step to a new way of life, right? I'm powerless over my addiction. I'm not powerless over how I see the world, my perceptions, and how I show up for life. I'm powerful because I have y'all. right? I have y'all. That's why I'm powerful. So getting clean, everything has been progressing pretty good. You know, I've had some setbacks and I've had some up and downs, but I gotta be honest, the last 5 years has been a fucking nightmare. I buried my dad, my mom. Last year I buried my daughter. And this year, one of my good friends passed. You know, I'm not here because I want to be. I'm here because my life is on the motherfucking line. I'm not confused that putting drugs on top of my pain right now is not the solution. I'm not confused. Narcotics Anonymous is like a, what does it say in the literature? It's like a life bulb in a sea of confusion, something to that effect, right? And so I haven't been doing the steps. I've been going to therapy for the last 4 or 5 years, and I get to do that because this book right here tells me that if I need to seek outside help, I need to do it, right? And I don't need to worry about it. What I can tell you is that the fellowship has been with me. I've been inspired to be able to go on because I've heard stories of other addicts who was burying their children and going through difficult situations. Other addicts who've dealt with death, who've dealt with positive stuff as well as being demoted. I've dealt with all of it. And I'm still here, y'all. I was told I would not make it to be 21. I'm 53 years old, 14 years clean. The devil is a lie. We do recover. And it ain't always pretty. It ain't always pretty. You know? Another one of my good friends, I haven't seen him in a while, man, but to see him in the condition that he's in right now, you know, that hurts me as well. You know, I feel today, I'm no longer denying who I am. I'm no longer denying that I have feelings, I have hopes, I have dreams. It's not okay for you to walk on me. I can stand up for myself. I don't give a fuck what they say. A man can be a man. Everything is not toxic. Fuck that. I get boundaries and I get to take care of myself today too. Right? And so Narcotics Anonymous saved my life. Narcotics Anonymous gave me an opportunity to grow. And today, you know, it just hurts, man. It'll be 1 year on the 16th. And it's hard for me not to obsess. It's hard to not obsess. Because last month, it would have been her 24th birthday on the 15th. How do I make it through? I call Larry. I call Hubert. I talk to Tony. You know, I talk to Lucy. Maya come through every now and then. You know, that's how we do it. Tradition 5. Last paragraph. What is our message? The message is that an addict, any addict, can stop using, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live. Our message is hope and the promise of freedom. When all is said and done, our primary purpose can only be to carry the message to the addict who still suffers, because that is all we have to give. You know, if you're here from a relapse, I want to welcome you. I'm back from a relapse. In fact, I relapsed 6 or 7 times. You know, you can get clean. Our literature supports it. Relapse can be a jarring experience to a more rigorous application of this program. Not your program, this program. Right? The program is in the book. What you're going to hear is a lot of our opinions, but once you read it, it all makes sense. You know, get in here, work the steps, or die, motherfucker, is what I heard. You know, we're a little soft compared to what I heard when I was 17. Right? They used to say, die, work the steps or die, motherfucker. If we want to know how to get loaded, we'll call on you. You know what I'm saying? That's what they were saying. Right? Or what you know about this way of life is on the first page of this book. If you got this book, you know ain't nothing on the first page of this book. Right? So, we learn how to live. We grow through things. We're able to stand up and talk about our pain, but we're also able to stand up and talk about our successes. A day clean is a day won. 24 hours is all we get. That's all we get. We got to start over. You can't rest on your laurels and sit back and stay clean off what you did yesterday. You have to get up, stand up, do what you need to do. Get a sponsor. If you don't have a sponsor, get a sponsor. Get the literature. Get a relationship with the literature. Right? Get a God of your understanding and become of service. That's how we stay clean, and there's some more things that you can do. That's how we stay clean. I'm truly grateful to be here. I don't really have a whole lot. I showed up because I was asked and I committed. This is the best I got. I love Narcotics Anonymous. It gave me a life, and I'm truly grateful to be here. Thank you.